Hello and welcome to official Xbox 360 magazine's OXM report. This week we've been chatting to the art director on Deus Ex Human Revolution about the game's remarkable aesthetic. So I'm here with Jonathan Jacques Bellatet, who's the art director on Deus Ex 3. So tell me, what is it that's key to creating a Deus Ex game?
I think really at first it was making our homeworks, as best as we could. Going back to the first one, going back to the second one, replay the hell out of them really from start to finish, and maybe even a couple times. Get what the core values are, what made them so special, because that's really what they are. They're really special games. So that was really like the first thing. And after that, it was kind of like trying to put our own vision into it, because it's still, like our game at the end of the day, in the sense that it's not a remake, right? We still needed to infuse a bit of our guts into it.
So the game itself has a unique visual style. I mean, tell me what the genesis of that idea was for the color scheme.
Well, if you think it's unique first up, well, thanks. That's really what we tried to do, and it's me personally as an art director, I always try to bring something different to the games that I work on whenever it's possible. And what was great about this one is that it really was a carte blanche game, right? It was really kind of like tabula rasa, just guys can have fun with it. So that's what I tried to do. So I wanted something that was kind of like, fairly stylized. Like photorealism is not something that's important to me at all. We knew that it's Deus Ex, it's cyberpunk, so it is going to look like Blade Runner. There's no way we can get around that. It is going to look a bit like Ghost in the Shell. There's quite a bit of Metal Gear in it. Also, it's a license that it's a franchise that we all really love. So we knew that those things had to be there. But then it's like, what do we bring that's really ours? So obviously a little bit of stylization, like I said, but then I was making my research into transhumanism, which is a huge important, theme of the game. And because, transhumanism deals so much with anatomy and the human body, kind of rather quickly, I started seeing all the images from Leonardo da Vinci's, anatomy sketches and stuff. And I was like, hey, it seems to be a big link between the Renaissance and cybernetics, if you want. So that's where the whole idea of that cyber Renaissance started. And and then you have the black and gold, which also stems from the whole Renaissance idea. Like if you look at the Renaissance paintings, they're really kind of black and goldy, really lots of darks and those really kind of bright golden lights. So it kind of like stems from that. And also the black kind of represents the dystopic aspect of cyberpunk, and the gold is a bit kind of, again, the Renaissance, this golden era, like in the game, in the third installment. We're kind of right before the huge kind of global crash that happens in the Deus Ex universe. So it's a little bit like it's a tiny golden era still, where people are kind of ignoring all the signs of the chaos that's about to happen. So
did you have to become a fashion designer to make this game, or did you hire guys who are experienced with that?
Yeah, maybe I should have hired a guy, because I think the way that we looked at fashion in Deus Ex, it's quite different than how the games industry usually does it, in the sense that it was more than just character design, just make this guy kind of look cool or that girl look cool. It was really like, let's really dive into clothing and all that stuff. And it's not something that we're really used to, either as guys or as concept artists, or artists that are usually making, big space marines with big weapons or whatever, right? So that was different. So tons and tons of references, real kind of fashion world references and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we literally had to become try to start thinking like fashion designers, and maybe we could have one as a consultant or something at one point. Yeah.
Detroit looks great, but Shanghai looks absolutely amazing. And tell me about the design for that city.
That's a funny story. Yeah, it's actually a long story. I'll try to make it short. But bottom line, we saw like this mockumentary, which was amazing. Which we didn't know was a mockumentary. It was perfectly done, like a real documentary, and it's totally unbelievable. It talks about Hong Kong, and they're starting to lack space in Hong Kong, right? Because there's the ocean in front of the city, and there's the mountains in the back, so they have really limited space, and they're starting to really lack real estate. So the documentary talks about they're building this second floor over it, and it just looks so credible, because they never really show the floor, but they show like that they're building the big pillars and stuff like that. It was probably just a building that was being built, but they filmed it in a way that you thought it was this huge pillar. They made it look like it could be possible to build that, like you really believed it. And I watched it with all my guys, and we really loved the idea. I'm like, we got to put this into the game. And at that point in the game, we're going to actually Shanghai, the city itself. And so we had this whole concept of a roof over Shanghai. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense to have a second floor to Shanghai. They don't have any space problem or whatever. And that's when we looked and we saw this island, Hangsha, that's right off the shore of Shanghai. It's like a suburbia right now. And we said, this is it, this in the story basically becomes the Silicon Valley of cybernetics, and all the companies just go there, just like all the companies went to California, right? All the computer and all the internet companies and everything in Silicon Valley, and they rapidly fill up this whole. It's about 6 kilometers. So the cyber companies that are on Hangsha, they said, hey, what the hell? Let's build a second floor. Now we have no more room. We can buy the other islands. Let's build a second floor and let's start building over it. So that's where the whole idea comes from. And then the aesthetics, was slowly built, and what the buildings look like, and what does it look like on top and from the bottom, and all that stuff,